What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex, and today I'm going to be going through the top 3 counselors I think you should play as in Friday the 13th, the game. So this is the final video in the Friday the 13th special series, where if you comment on this video or any of the other 2, the review and the tips and tricks video, if you comment on any one of these 3 and you comment on the giveaway video, you'll be entered for a chance to win Friday the 13th, the game. The giveaway ends this Saturday night, so you still have some time to do it. So in this video, we're going to talk more about the counselors. Now, the tips and tricks, I kind of gave you an overview of Jason and the counselors and more of in-game things of how to survive, how to actually escape Jason or fend him off in the counselor's point of view. Now, for this one, I want to talk about specifically the counselors because you have some options. And we're going to go mostly with characters that you start that are unlocked right at the beginning. Although one of them is locked in the beginning. So let's talk about the stats in this game and what they mean and the characters that have them and so on from there. And then we can decide on the best characters. So what do we got? Well, we got Composure first. And now Composure is all about fear. When you're afraid, it's a very bad thing. You don't want to be afraid in this game. You want to keep your cool. Not you, the individual, obviously, you probably want to do that as well, but the counselor himself or herself wants to keep it cool. If you're afraid, you are in for a world of trouble. You can't see your map. You can't use items that aren't immediate, that aren't things that just happen, so you wouldn't be able to apply first aid. It's a bad situation to be in. So composure is a pretty important, they're all important in their own way. Some I think are slightly less than others. Composure is an important one overall. It's easier to break away from Jason. So composure is something that you may be looking for. Luck. Luck is something that I don't like very much in this game, and I don't think it's necessary, and this is definitely one of the weaker stats. So luck is weapon durability and being able to find things easier. Basically, it's literally luck, right? Like your character just happens to be more lucky in the game. I think if you're smart enough, if you're quiet enough, if you're stealthy enough, you can find things anyway. Even if your character doesn't have a lot of luck, you can pretty much get what you need in this game in the first place. You don't need luck. You can probably find a weapon, you can find a knife, you can maybe find one item of a certain set of items, so maybe find the car keys, but somebody else maybe finds the fuel. So I think that luck isn't that important. I think if you're good enough and you have a group of people, you could probably all make up for each other's weaknesses, so I wouldn't say luck is very important. Intelligence. Now, intelligence increases repairs. So when you repair things, you can repair boats, you can repair the cars, you can repair the telephone line to call the cops. So the repairing is important in this game, that's for sure. That is absolutely for sure. But I don't think this trait is that useful either. Already the mini game is something that, yes, can mess you up and maybe you're not that great at it, but it's not the hardest mini game in the world. It's not something that if you don't have the high intelligence you're going to fail at. I think you'd be fine anyway. It increases it just a little bit, but if you're good at mini games in the first place, hitting R1 or RB or LB or clicking with the mouse, however you do it, with whatever console, I think you're okay if you don't have high intelligence. Speed and stamina, they're kind of alike, and it's important to have both, I think. Now, some people don't really agree with the speed. I think speed is incredibly important. So obviously speed increases your speed. If you have this, I think speed and stamina are probably the 2 most important things to have. Speed, you're going to need, right? Maybe you need to make a dart, an absolute book it, for the police, where the police come in the exits. Speed is going to be necessary. Now, Jason can do the kind of closing the gap move where he really gets you, even if you are fast. He can catch up to cars. He can catch up to boats with using that. So, obviously, speed isn't going to do much, but really nothing can do much under that. I'll tell you, again, from the tips and tricks, it's hard to control Jason when he's doing that kind of invisible gliding thing, when he's jumping from one place. He has to go in a straight line. There's no guarantee he's going to grab you on that. So having speed, being able to go fast in this game is very important. If you need to get from one house to the other extremely quickly, or like I said, there are times in this game where you need just that burst of speed to get from point A to point B, and you just need it. And obviously, if you have this increased stat, it's going to benefit you. There's just going to be times where you need it. And similarly, stamina is incredibly important. The more stamina you have, the better off you are. This goes hand in hand with speed. Obviously, if you have high speed and high stamina, you're going to be really good because stamina, you're going to have more speed. That's basically it. You're going to be able to do more things with your character, do more activities with the character before they get tired. Very, very important to have both of those. Those are easily, I think, in my mind, the most important. Stealth. Now, stealth is important too. Stealth is a pretty good one, and I think, here's the thing, I wouldn't necessarily say that you can make up for things with stealth. I think with composure or with intelligence or, with some of those ones, I think or with luck, I think you can kind of be fine on your own without relying on it. Stealth is important. It reduces the amount of noise that you make, so it's harder to find you from Jason. Now, this is good, obviously, because Jason is always going to be on the lookout for you, but it doesn't guarantee much. I've played as characters that have very low stealth, and Jason still doesn't find me. If you're far enough away from him in the first place, and he's just not worried about you, you're not going to need stealth. You're just not. He's going to be busy with other people. You just worry about yourself. That's really all there is to it. Obviously, stealth can help if you're in a close proximity to him, and you get it far enough away, maybe he won't find you. Yes, that is true. That is very important. But in the grand scheme of things, I think if you stay far enough away from him, and if you're smart, and if you stay away from large masses of people, like I talked about in the tips and tricks, stealth is something in a way where you can get away with without having it, although it is very important. All these things are important for themselves, depending on how you play the game. Maybe you're a player that likes to run a lot, and obviously that sounds weird because you do have to play this game a certain way, but in that certain way, there is abilities to be able to play how you want. You can kind of work the game in the way you want to play it. And the last one is strength. So strength is attack damage and reduces stamina when you're in these combat situations. So this gives you more hits with a weapon. This makes you stronger. You may need this if you ever plan on killing Jason. This is an important thing to have if you're the kind of character that uses it. I think strength, again, you can get away with not having strength. A flare gun or just the pocket knife where you can stab Jason when he grabs you is equally as good. I think the flare gun is the best thing in this game to shoot Jason. Or a shotgun if you're Tommy, so that's a thing as well. But obviously we're not talking about Tommy. Obviously you want to become Tommy, because Tommy is just the combination of all of these great things all thrown into one thing. But strength, if you're going to play that way, if you want to be able to slow Jason down and stun him and knock him back, strength is your ally. Although most likely if you have strength, you're going to be lacking in other more mobile categories. And I'm more of those kind of categories than I am strength. I play mainly as females. None of them have high strength. And I've made it to the very end several times. Nick's made it to the very end several times as females. So it's not necessary to have strength, but we are going to include somebody that does that in the ending of this video. So here we go. Who are the best counselors to be? Well, if you're looking for a somewhat overall good person in a couple of the stats that I talked about, AJ Mason is a good player. Now, she's a player that I play as a lot, actually, and I've played a game where I think 6 of the 8 counselors played as her. And there's a reason for that. She has high stats in the things that you may want her to have, and okay stats and everything else. She's got 7 composure, so she's very solid. She's got 7 repair, so if you're into the repair, you're into it. 4 speed and 4 stamina, so she's not the fastest, but she's not the worst. There are worse players than her in that category. 10 stealth, a perfect thing in stealth. So she is who you want to be if you don't want to be found by Jason. And so there is a reason why I don't get caught. Stealth is powerful. Stealth does help you. And I think playing as her is the best way of doing it in that matter. Another player is Jenny Myers. She has 10 composure, so this girl is extremely good when she, just extremely good. She doesn't break down. We've talked about what composure does to you. She's the only one that has over a 7 in composure. Everybody else is 7 or lower. There's a lot of 5s and 3s. She's the only 10. She has a very high luck, so if you play as her, maybe you do get lucky. Maybe you do find things quicker, And that can lead to escaping. I'm not going to put it out of the question that it would help you escape. And then as for the rest, again, she's okay where she needs to be. Her speed is not good, but her stamina is a 5. That's decent, right? She has okay stamina. Her stealth is a 6. That's pretty high. That's not bad at all, actually. And then her strength is a 1. Again, I don't care about strength. AJ has a strength of 2. So I don't care about strength in my players. But, again, we're going to talk about one person that does have strength. Before I go into the final person, I do want to talk about somebody that I've seen people play. Greg Miller plays as her and Kind of Funny. And she is good in her own respect, but I've just not played as her, is Vanessa Jones. So Vanessa has speed of 10 and stamina of 9. Now that's really good, right? That is insanely good. Speed of 10. She's the fastest player in the entire game. That's why she wears the tracksuit. She's the fastest player in the whole game, and she has the highest, or matches the highest stamina, other than Tiffany, who also is a somewhat decent character. Speed and stamina are what I was talking about, very important to have. So that, in that respect, she's fantastic in it. She is very quick, and she has a lot of stamina. If you need to make a break for it, she's the character to have, or possibly Tiffany. But what I don't like about her really is everything else. Her composure is only a 3, so she gets frightened easily. Her stealth is a 1. Now, while I don't need stealth in my life in this game, like I talked about, I do need it a little. And, Tiffany has a 10, AJ has a 10. Those are extremely good. But if you want to go on the other side of things, stealth as a 1 for Vanessa, that is bad. That is very bad. You are going to get caught very often as Vanessa. Now, you may be able to run your way out of these situations more often because of her increased speed and stamina, but stealth-wise, she's awful. Strength, she actually has pretty good strength as well, and luck, she's not bad. But who is the character that is number 3 on my list? Is Brandon Wilson. Now, he's a character that may take some time to actually unlock him, but he's very good. And like I said, strength isn't very important to me. There's 2 characters that have pretty high strength, right? Him and Adam. But as for him, he makes up for it, actually. He's a pretty unique character. 10 strength. 10 strength is fantastic, obviously. He's the one who you'd want to fight Jason in this camp counselor thing. If you needed somebody, he would be your guy. But what also has him stand out to me, and what I like about him, is his speed and his stamina are both 8s. Now, that is probably the best grouping of speed and stamina other than Vanessa. So he is second on the list in terms of being able to run very fast and being able to keep running very fast or being able to do activities very fast. He's your man. And with his strength being so powerful, he's a very, very strong character. Again, I don't play as him that much, and I'd rather play as other characters, but he has actually very solid stats. They all are good in their own way. They each have things, if you go down the list, obviously Vanessa, speed and stamina. Deborah has repair and stealth, so she can hide very well, and maybe she's the girl to repair the cars or the boats. Tiffany, we've talked about stamina and stealth, very good duo. Kenny is basically the middleman, 5s and everything, so he's very much an average player. I don't really know why you'd play as him, other than a lot of these people have 1s or 2s in certain things. He's a straight 5 through everything. So he's decent in everything, but not great at anything. Jenny, we've talked about her. Chad has very high luck and very high speed and stealth, so he's kind of a jack of all trades. AJ, we've talked about. Brandon, we've talked about. Eric has really good repair and really good stealth. So again, he's a guy that you want to use. Again, he can hide from Jason and he can repair things pretty easy. And repair, by the way, intelligence, same thing. I'm just using repair because that's what it means. And Adam, kind of a straight shot all the way through, but does have some strong things all throughout him. So those are the general descriptions of the counselors, and those are my 3 favorites in AJ, Jenny, and Brandon. Vanessa is also, I think, would be pretty good too. So let me know what counselors you've been playing as and what counselors fit your playing style. If there's any tricks with them, or if any of them work for different situations, put in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to Podcast Now, our YouTube channel, for more of this stuff. Make sure you like and share this video. And thank you guys for watching all the Friday the 13th videos. I hope you've enjoyed it. Enter the giveaway. It'd be awesome if you won. We're very happy to do these giveaways, so can't wait to give it out to one of you guys or gals on Saturday. So good luck to everybody, and I will see you guys for that drawing.